This is the fastest, most competitive, and toughest spec racing series in the world today. 2 years, the best racetracks in North America. Let's take a look at last year's highlights. In the end, it would all come down to a point shootout between these three pros: Ben Keating, AJ Morgan, and Jeff Courtney. And the showdown would happen here, the most iconic racetrack in America. Keating brings in a Viper Pro for his second driver, Dominic Farnbacher, the driver of the SRT Viper record run at Nürburgring and very experienced at Daytona. He wins race number 1. Keating holds on to second. Going into the final race of the season, all three drivers are still in mathematical contention for the championship. Saturday night, you could cut the tension with a knife. Now, watch this. Morgan and Keating collide. The door is wide open for Jeff Courtney, but outstanding pit work from the ViperExchange.com crew prevails. And the championship goes to Ben Keating. The 2012 season returns with some new faces and what promises to be another shootout to the end. This is SRT Viper Cup.
That is Tom Matthew. I'm Greg Creamer, and welcome to the opening round of the SRT Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra at the ultra quick and daunting Road Atlanta. Let's get right to our starting lineup. On pole for the 11th time in his career, defending champion Ben Keating, alongside Dave Pintarik, a rookie to this series but a former national champion in Vipers. Then Dave Mazek, making his 17th start in the championship with a great qualifying run. The next two, only their third races, and still Jim Booth and young Louis-Philippe Montour both qualify in the top 5. Veteran Kurt Solberger, with his 17th start, qualifies in the 6th spot. And one of our celebrity drivers, Bert Levy, writer of The Last Open Road and all the Buddy Palumbo novels. Then we have, starting in the 8th spot, Todd Nelson, making his 11th start in the championship. Qualifying in 9th, a proud dad, Mark Montour, making his 5th start in the championship. Also making his 5th start, number 64, Dave Decker, qualifies 10th. Bill Goldberg, the NFL star, the wrestler, one of our celebrity drivers, next up. Then qualifying very quickly, but having a problem in tech, Eric Galarin, and at the back of the field, young Trevor Nelson. That, of course, Todd Nelson's son, making his first start. As always, in the SRT Viper Cup, we have a standing start. When those red lights go out, we go racing, and we are green. The 2012 season is underway. Great launch by Galarin at the back, trying to make up some spots. But up front, Tom, it is Ben Keating comfortably leading down into turn 1. A great battle for second.
Ben Keating is the reigning champion for the SRT Viper Cup, and the whole ViperExchange.com team knows that he got off to a bit of a bad start at Sebring last year, so they're all determined this year to get out of the blocks running hard, and he is definitely setting the pace, Craig.
And heading down through the S's, one of Road Atlanta's most famous series of corners, and a key one as well, up through turn 5, hard acceleration up this hill onto the second largest straight here at Road Atlanta, and Pintarik trying to stay close, but Keating already opening up just a little bit of ground in that Viper Exchange entry. Pintarik's Carbotech machine sits in second, then Mazek having a good solid run, sitting in the 3rd spot, exiting that bank turn 6, heading into turn 7, Tom. Such an important corner. It gets you down this long, mile-long, winding, flat-out straight.
Well, the young Nelson is right on the back bumper of Bill Goldberg, but do you really pass Bill Goldberg on the very first lap of the very first Viper race he ever did? I think discretion is the better part of valor in this case.
Well, if you do, you get away fast, because you know he's going to be coming after you. Keating down into turn 10, very hard on brakes from that very high speed, and now under the famous bridge and plummeting down through turn 12. When every instinct in your body is saying lift, you actually keep it forward, grab another gear, and rely on the amazing aero of these Viper ACR-X machines and let that big power do the job. One lap in the books, Keating already pulling away.
Well, Ben Keating absolutely loves Road Atlanta. He's been here before during a USGT race, during Petit Le Mans, loves the elevation changes, loves the complicated corners and the long straightaways. It's almost a racetrack that's perfectly suited to his SRT Viper Cup car, and his team loves the Southern cooking.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he's got such experience. He ran Daytona for the 24 hours earlier. He's driven them all. And one thing he loves is the way that these cars work on this particular track. The great aero package on the ACR-X, the corners at Road Atlanta, save for this one, that key turn 7, very tight. The rest of the corners are very high-speed corners where that aero squash, you can carry a lot of speed. And the other part of it is the power of these amazing cars on these long, fast straights. You just let that V10 sing. It's good. It's a glorious symphony here, that's for sure.
You're at about 165 miles an hour here in an SRT Viper Cup car, but what makes it complicated is you get down to probably the slowest place on the entire racetrack right in this complex.
Yeah, once again, you're coming from huge speed onto heavy braking, so brake management, keeping those brakes and tires underneath you, always going to be a key here. Fortunately, they're all running the marvelous Michelin tire, and so that is a very strong point of the championship. Keating leads right now and continues to lead in front of Dave Pintark sitting in third. Dave Mazik having a very solid run, completing the top 3 at this point. Welcome back to a beautiful day here at Road Atlanta for the opening round of the 2012 SRT Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra. See a little bit of heat haze off the track, but the air temperature absolutely glorious for this time of year. Not a bad day either for one Ben Keating right now, opening that lead up a little bit over Dave Pintark, but Tom, a huge battle for that final podium spot going on behind.
David Mazik has podiumed in the SRT Viper Cup before, but we don't usually see him running up this fast, this hard. Now, he spent some time with Tommy Archer over the winter, and he's definitely got his speed up. Now, speed is one thing. Racecraft is a totally different factor.
Absolutely, and you can see right behind him in the red McDonald's ACR-X, Jim Booth got a great run out of 7, and Mazik going to try and pin him to the outside, but Booth, look, he did. He had enough of a head of his steam. He's able to drive by, clear Mazik, now get hard on the brakes. We talked about it. Look at that nose down the inside of Mazik. Couldn't quite get it done. So Mazik's going to hang on to 4th, but now a beautiful move by Booth, slipping through into 3rd. And I'll tell you, this guy impresses me. Jim Booth only his 3rd start to qualify as well as he did. His 1st start last year at Daytona, the 2nd to last round, he was 13th, 6th in the next one. Now he's in a podium run. Pretty amazing stuff. But look at the big move. Louis-Philippe Montour down the inside into 1. This is a tough place to make the pass. Does he get it done? He does. You can see Mazik has to slot in behind. That's a very tough place to make a pass, and Montour looks like a veteran.
You know, Greg, I've got a drawer full of t-shirts that are older than LP Montour. You know, he does most of his racing almost exclusively at Mont Tremblant. And now that I think of it, I can't think of a better training ground to prepare for Road Atlanta.
Absolutely, some extremely quick corners there and some very dicey corners, which this place is loaded with. And I'll tell you, LP Montour right there, as you call him, he showed a lot of confidence in that Viper and the handling. That's a very fast corner, turn 1. Again, that aero package, but also the braking and the handling of that car from all that speed getting through there and running up the inside of somebody. Great move. He executed it beautifully.
Well, Jim Booth didn't expect to see this black and silver car behind him, but I've met his coach and I've met his team, and let me tell you, Greg, they don't set their phasers to stun. They set them to kill.
Absolutely. I mean, this is full-out hardcore racing. These guys are going after it. Ooh, you saw right there, Booth, he let that back end swing out, but it was actually a nice piece of rotation because it set him up beautifully for the second part of that 10A, 10B complex. That right-hander got him hard on the throttle up under the bridge and down the hill, and you can see he pulled a little bit right there on young Mr. Montour. And I'll tell you what, I got the feeling Mr. Montour's going, okay, learned that.
Learned that, and that's a bit of experience for me. I don't know anybody who's spent...
Oh, Montour, all 4 wheels off. He just tried to match the speed that Booth was carrying down into that turn, and he couldn't quite hang on to it, but I'll tell you what, that was a great save. No sudden motions on the wheel, Tom, and you watch what happens here as he runs off, he straightens the wheels out and lets it get its head back.
Well, he did a good job gathering that up, but as you can see from the grass, a lot of people do that a lot of the time. And it's very common at Road Atlanta, and for Dave Mazik's part, he says, merci.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that Montour didn't do anything sudden, kept that car in a straight line, and Mazik able to drive safely by, and that puts Mazik back up into fourth, but it is still Keating out front over Pintarik, with Booth sitting third. Every creature is watching the opening round of the SRT Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra today at a glorious day, at a glorious track. Road Atlanta, well, I'll tell you, one of the best ever. And we are watching just an amazing battle here. At the back of the pack, still some good racing. And of course, in that car at the back, that is Bill Goldberg, who is an NFL player, a wrestler, an actor, a TV star, and he is making his first start in the SRT Viper Cup, and he did it with some great coaching from Cindy Lux, and this is a homecoming too.
Well, he did the Long Beach Grand Prix like so many celebrities do, but as you say, Greg, he's at home now.
Cindy Lux and I started our wonderful relationship back at the Toyota Long Beach Grand Prix, and between she and Danny McKeever, they had the patience enough to teach me how to drive. People would think that, you know, I'd be overbearing and, you know, think I know it all. I mean, the reality is I'm a car collector and I've hosted TV shows about cars, but the reality is I'm not a race car driver. When I got the phone call from Cindy and Stan Wilson, you know, to be a part of the SRT program, it's a no-brainer for someone such as myself, you know, who lived here in Atlanta and played football for the Georgia Bulldogs and then played for the Atlanta Falcons. To be able to come back in my backyard, compete at one of the most wonderful, most unbelievable road courses in the world, and to be coupled with the SRT program and the Viper program, and to be here and be a part of this, it's just an honor and a dream come true, and hey, I got to strike it off my bucket list.
Well, Tom, you can see from some of the machinery in that feature that he's driven some wicked quick stuff in a straight line, but hustling an ACR-X Viper around this track, whole different thing.
Well, nobody would ever accuse you of straight line racing here at Road Atlanta, but Bill Goldberg has definitely benefited from his coaching from Cindy Lux at the streets of Willow Springs, some experience on the streets of Long Beach, and he's got nothing to be ashamed of. He's holding his head up high, Greg.
Absolutely, and of course it's a battle like this you'd eventually hope to be in the middle of. This is that great scrap going on for third. Once again, Jim Booth, that red McDonald's car. Mazik, this time Mazik getting a nice run out of 7. He's within a car length and picking up on that draft just a little bit. Watch for it. Does he make the pop to the inside? He's thinking about it. No! Nice move right there, Jim Booth. Just dissuaded him a little bit, and that's as close as you can get without the kiss. Man, that was some awfully close racing right there. And, of course, right behind him, a quickly recovering, that is young LP Montour. And, boy, after that off time, he has come back like gangbusters. And what a run down through 12. He may have something again. He knows this pass works down into 1. If he doesn't carry in too much speed, he's there. And Mazik sees it and says, I'm had.
You know, I've taken a picture of this before at Mont Tremblant at a corner called Du Diable. Very similar configuration to this, and LP saw the opportunity, set it up on the downhill, and then actually got the job done. Congratulations to LP.
That's one of my favorite corners in the world, and you're right, turn 1, it's a huge commitment. Corner falls away as you enter it. You literally let the car slide knowing you're going to get uphill, and that means a little bit of grip, a little confidence going in, and then a nice controlled throttle on the way through. You can do some nice things, and Montour doing just that, up into 4th. And again, a great comeback after that off he had in turn 1. He's clearly a quick student, and look at him attack here coming into 7. That's one of those corners, Tom. Sometimes it's one of those fast in, slow out corners, but this time it looks like he got away with it.
Well, at this point during the race, Greg, you don't really care about the textbook. In fact, you throw it out the passenger window if you can. You change your style from finesse and go on to full attack.
And Montour takes a look down to the inside, and oh, he's off track. Just carried in too much speed. He caught some huge air, and now back onto the track. Keeps it down to the inside. I'll tell you, once again, it was a mistake, obviously, Tom, but he straightened those wheels out, didn't do anything sudden, and didn't take out any of those other drivers. That's a nice piece of recovery by LP.
And a great piece of driving by Dave Mazik. Did not look sideways, did not lift, didn't really notice LP. He stuck to the bumper of this McDonald's car, and he wants to pass him.
Replay here, let's go back on board. This is from the nose cam for Mr. Montour, and again, you see right there, too much speed. Did a nice job, though, straighten the wheels out, gets it back on track, avoids the gravel trap they call the beach here, and there's a reason for that. Once you're in it, you spend the day.
Yeah, but you don't usually have 135-mile-an-hour cars braking around you going down the hill. It was a good job by LP and a very good recovery, Greg.
Really was a nice recovery. You could see him also make it to the pit, so clearly these ACR-X Vipers pretty sturdy to get that kind of air, that kind of bounce, and be able to just drive off. And for the second time this race, though, Mazik has been able to say thank you and is right back into that battle for the podium.
Well, Dave Mazik is a very distinguished college professor, but he's been jonesing on Vipers since the very first day they hit the street. He spent time with Viper Days, doing the driver's school, doing the solo, doing some bench racing, and then becoming a professional racer with some coaching from Tommy Archer. And if you look at Dave Mazik's performance, you can see it's all rounding out, Greg.
Absolutely, and Tommy teaching Mazik moves like that, and be able to get that deep on the brakes, knife down underneath, and make the pass stick, not overshoot like Montour did. Mazik, definitely the professor going to school with Tommy Archer, and I'll tell you, it's paying off big time to have a coach like that. Now, watch this though. Looks like Booth maybe got a run down through 12. They attack turn 1. Booth decides nope, tucks back in. So with 10 laps complete, the battle is still Keating out in front of Bitark, and this great battle for third.
Back with the SRT Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra. You know, Greg, the only thing you've done here more than driving is flagging. You know this place like the back of your hand.
Oh, I love it, absolutely. I've been coming down there for a lot of years now. I live in the area. I go out and flag whenever I can. It's a hobby. You know what? You learn a lot. When you're working the corners, you watch what these cars and drivers are capable of, and you can really pick some things up. And it helps with the race call. It just gives you the ability to kind of read things again as the cars go by. And right now, we've got our battle for that third spot coming up on Mr. Goldberg, who's already a bit of a fish out of water, and now in even more unfamiliar territory. He's got the battle for third coming up to put him down a lap. And here we go. Look at this. This is a move by Booth. Oh, they split him. Either side, Booth way down to the inside in 6, using the banking right there to get through it. And I think Mr. Goldberg, that was pretty smart. Saw those cars split him and just dipped the brake, let them go. Wanted no part of that. And I'll tell you though, Booth, that tight radius through there, we had to pinch in and then exit as well. That was a nice move by Mazik. Just swept the outside, Tom.
Is it just me, or did Bill make that car shrink by 6 inches in width all at once? Great move by Bill Goldberg. Didn't get anybody's way. And I'll tell you, for a guy in his second professional race, it was a heads-up move.
Oh, I think absolutely it was. When he saw what was coming, he just let them go, didn't fight them going into that corner. And a nice piece of driving as well by Mazik when he realized that Booth was way down to the inside. He could carry that momentum. Speaking of momentum, though, look at the run down the hill Booth got this time. He's looking to the inside. Mazik feints to the inside as well, trying to dissuade him. Booth still going forward and not quite able to get the nose down inside. Now he runs wide. Boy, that McDonald's Viper stepped out for just a second. These guys are going at it hammer and tong right now, and Mazik able to hang on.
Well, you talked about radius coming down the hill, but the advantage there is you can see all the way down the hill. Radius going up the hill in turn 1 is just as important, but you can't see what's up there. Now let's take a look at Eric Allern. Very, very racy. He's been one of the fast qualifiers this weekend. The 37 car is in a big hurry to get by Bill Goldberg.
Oh, and they get together. There's big contact right there. Goldberg, that left front corner, Tom, pretty torn up.
Ouch. Well, that one's not going to buff out, Greg.
Oh, and you can see how frustrated he is inside the cockpit right now. He is pounding that wheel.
For me, I dig Bill Goldberg's competitiveness. Now, this may be his second competitive race, but Bill is definitely a competitor. And as you can see, I don't think that was his fault. I just think he lost the back end of the car And Eric Galern ended up paying the price. What a shame.
You know what I would almost guarantee happened? He was driving in his mirrors. You could see him run wide to the apex at 5 out in the marbles out there, just lost the rear end. Generally that happens. You peek in the mirror at just the wrong moment, and that's what can happen. So damage on that car, and again some contact, and Goldberg is parked.
As Mr. Ferrari once said, what is behind you is of no consequence, so don't look in your mirrors, even if you have them. However, Bill Goldberg is going to fight another day.
And there's the man who's been somewhat of a ghost here in the latter part of this race, Tom. Such a huge lead he has put together. Ben Keating, in the first ever year of this championship, was second, defending champion, and looks like one more corner and he's going to get his 6th career win. Down through turn 12 one last time, and continuing to set incredibly quick laps as that checkered flag comes out. Pintarik, an impressive debut run for the experienced Viper pilot. And then, of course, just going to be a great run here. Look at this, Dave Mazik. What a step up he has made. And we've been talking about the coaching he's been receiving, but you still have to take that information in and be the sponge. And has he been? What an amazing run right here. Mazik enjoying the day immensely, as he's going to, I think, really enjoy this cool-down lap. You can see on the side of the car, it says Archer, and I'll tell you what, it's paid off. There are the results. Keating, Pintarik, Mazik, your podium. Jim Booth, just another great run, and only his 3rd race to finish 4th. Nelson rounds out your top 5. A little bit further back, first of our celebrity drivers. Bert Livy, who has certainly done a fair amount of road racing in his day, so good job there. And there's Galern, of course, he and Goldberg having that contact. Now the points after the first of the 10 rounds of the SRT Viper Cup presented by Pennzoil Ultra. Keating with a lead over Pintarik, Mazik 3rd. Pretty much the finishing order at this stage. There were some points for qualifying as well. And there you take a look. The people that had problems in qualifying are the ones that are really hurting in terms of points at this early stage. But a lot of season yet to go, to be sure. Tom is down in victory circle with our winner.
Well, Ben, it occurs to me the best way to follow up on a championship is a win in race number 1 in the next season. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It was a great race. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. The ViperExchange.com car performed beautifully, and we were lucky enough to have some competition in the 2nd and 3rd spots that let me get a little bit of a gap, and was able to maintain it.
Well, listen, it was a fantastic drive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All the best to you. You know, one of the things we love best in the SRT Cup is to have a new professional driver join our ranks. But I don't think we've ever seen one do so well in his very first outing. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little bit humbled. I think Ben drove a pretty good race, but I couldn't see him. He was so far ahead of me, so I could just go by the results that he did a real good job. I'm a rank amateur here, and I'm fine. I'm happy to be here. SRT does a great job building a nice car and putting a good event, and Michelin tires are great. My Carbotech brakes did phenomenal, so I'm a happy camper.
And your crew, they're all very excited.
I get the best people in the world at Chrysler Racing, and Matt Miller and Jerry Palmer and Reed and Sandy Chrysler. They're the best out there.
Congratulations on the 2nd place.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you, mate.
I think we're going to be hearing a lot from Mr. Pintarik as the season unfolds, and as we watch again Mr. Goldberg enjoying his homecoming. I want to remind you that you can join us on Twitter at @ViperCup. You can find us on Facebook at SRT Viper, and of course, drivesrt.com. Thanks for joining us. Round 1, round 2 will be coming up in a week right here at Road Atlanta. Until then, take care, everybody.